Acting Class Weekly with legendary character actor Sean Whalen. Lessons, tips, and insight into the craft and business of acting from a man who's been directed by the likes of Tim Burton, Ang Lee, Michael Bay, Wes Craven, Tom Hanks, and many more of Hollywood's A-list. He is 30 years an actor and your professor, Sean Whalen.
Roxy.
John.
Right off the bat, I have to say hello to everybody. Welcome to Acting Class Weekly. But why am I wearing black on black? Because I have the privilege to have my manager, Gary Ousdahl, here. We've been trying to get him, Roxy, months?
He's a very busy man. He is a very busy man.
But that's
the
okay.
Quarantine helped us get him. But Gary is the king of black t-shirts. Now, I don't have a V-neck, but Gary is the king of black V-neck t-shirts. It's kind of like a Einstein thing, you know, same suit, same uniform, simple. Is that why you wear it, Gary?
Yeah, my entire wardrobe is black and navy blue and gray. I think it's maybe because I'm a little not colorblind but shade stupid, but I just go with what works.
I love that. I got into that like a few years ago, just dark t-shirts, dark gray, blue, black. I did that, but so today I'm not blue eye shaming you, Roxy. I'm just being my manager look in honor of Gary here today.
Well, you didn't even tell me that, Sean, but apparently I'm in honor of Gary too, because I'm in my black V-neck. So
yeah,
look at that.
Yeah,
this one's for you, Gary.
This one's all for you.
Thank you, guys.
So why is Gary here? Gary is here to talk about seeking representation, trying to find someone who helps you find jobs. That's what representation is. And he's been doing this for years, and he knows what works, what doesn't work, things you should do, things you shouldn't do, and we're going to talk to him about that. We'll be talking about that the whole show, and then at the end, not a story from the set, but story from karaoke bars. You're going to have to hang around to see what that means. Gary and I bonded over karaoke, so you have to stick around to see what that means. We got some stories. And we'll even tell you our go-to song. No rendition, but we'll tell you our go-to song that we have nailed across all Los Angeles. So, but before we do that, let's get into my week. And Roxy, what are you thinking? I've never deferred to you on a week call. So let me ask you, what do you think this week, Sean's week, should be like?
We've done a lot of t-shirt talk, Sean. So I feel like it's got to be a casual t-shirt kind of theme.
It's a casual t-shirt vibe. Okay, ready? On three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Sean's week.
That was casual t-shirty.
We're cool, Sean. We're cool. We're hip. We're chill. We wear t-shirts.
Did it feel like a t-shirt?
Yes, it did.
Those are the calls when I get bad feedback. That's the way Gary talks.
Good job. Yeah, totally.
That was great. Keep the day job, kids.
He sips tea.
He sips tea. Yeah. So we are on the final weeks of writing the sketch show, the online parody show that my sketch class is working on. It's a parody of a TV genre. I think you guys are going to dig it. We will probably start shooting next week. And I have to say, Roxy Striar, who has recently joined the sketch class and is a character and writing, is killing it. You're killing it.
Thanks, Sean.
And just hearing you in the meetings and your punch-ups, like we've never really worked together on that side. I've seen written stuff of yours, but you're doing great.
Thanks.
You and they appreciate you, and it's great. So
I'm loving being there. You have a great class. It's an awesome class.
Yeah, great people. Then the TikTok. Yeah, Gary said last sketch show he went to, he said one of the funniest of shows that I've done, and he's seen several years of them, and he was like, this group, he loved it. That was great.
I don't know though, because Gary, you also said that we had a great intro song with the t-shirt thing. So I just don't know what to trust right now.
I know the way Gary talks, I'm telling you, when he saw my sketch show, I believed it. You know, I studied behavior.
It's called acting.
Yeah. Okay. And then TikTok is very strange. I've been working on that, but all of a sudden they changed their algorithm and like everybody's slowing way down for some reason. I don't know why, like followers, and maybe it's a lot of celebrities on there, who knows, but that's like the big thing. But I'm still plugging away and doing some fun stuff. And then I had a table read for our friend Doug Van Bever. We all know Doug Van Bever, who co-wrote Psyche with me and has been on our show, Roxy. You know him. He has a new script that he did a table read this weekend. On Zoom, obviously. And man, I love this script. And it's small and it's rural and can be shot easily in the San Joaquin Valley. And, you know, the word on the street is that independent movies will be rising up. So hopefully they'll be able to shoot this. So that was really cool. So that was kind of my week. But before we get into Gary, we want to talk to Roxy about how to get us more involved in the show so you can see and hear what you want to hear.
Well, one of the reasons that we are having Gary on, and we've been so persistent about getting him and making sure he could come on the show, is because we're listening to you guys at home, who you want us to talk to, what kind of questions you have. And representation has been such a question that we've gotten for so many. I mean, from day one, Sean, everybody wants to know how to get representation. So we see what you guys are saying and then we respond to it. So thank you for commenting. Please keep doing so. Also, rate, subscribe. It really helps the community grow. And I did want to give some shout outs, just a couple quick ones. Glenn Caesar, who says he's hooked right now because he wants to know the story from the karaoke bar as he is watching live. So we definitely have to get to that because I'm with him on that. And also shout out to Weston Ira, who said, indeed, Ewan McGregor. I don't know who's giving him Ewan McGregor vibes right now. Maybe it's a combination. So yeah, it must be you, Sean. It must be you. Ewan McGregor vibes hardcore. We appreciate you guys being in here, and please 5 stars, thumbs up wherever you are. Write a comment so we know what kind of guests you want to bring into the show and also what you want us to talk about.
Awesome. So let's just jump in. Okay, that's one thing. Gary is a no BS guy. When we talk, it's business, in and out. That's what I love, because the lesson I learned from someone a long time ago, I used to talk to this manager when I did the side gig, and he talked to me for so long. And it was a friend of mine who said, you know, busy people can't talk that long. So he's not that good. And that's one of the reasons I really liked Gary right off the bat, was because it's the facts, it's what we need to know, moving on. And that means, you know, he's efficient. So, and here's the bad news. Sometimes, Gary, you can go like the old grandpa telling the story over and over, and it takes too long, and we got a lot to get to, but we do have to say how Gary and I met. This is his favorite story to tell, and he's always
the real story.
Always embarrassing me, but here we
go. Well, Sean and I've actually been a fan of Sean's work for quite some time. You know, he is that guy, Sean Whalen. You see him in a ton of stuff. You're just like, who is that dude? It's not Steve Buscemi, but I've always been really attracted to your work as an actor. And so years ago, I was on YouTube and I saw a video that Sean did parodying Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. And I sent a message to him on the YouTube video saying that, you know, I'm a big fan of your work. I've been following your work for quite some time. I'm a manager. I own a company called Advanced Management. I would love to talk to you about representation. And he did not respond. I think I sent another direct message to him as well, also ignored. Sean was with a manager at the time. I won't mention her name.
No.
That she was a little cuckoo. Yeah. Oh. And we butted heads a couple of times for various reasons. And one day I said, you know what? Forget this. Let me look at her list. And I'm like, oh, wow, she reps this guy, Sean Whalen. And I was like, I got to find a way to get in touch with them. Managers don't poach, but I was like, I want to take her client because she was really evil to me.
Not
and
cool.
Then the next day I decided, you know what, that's just not cool to do. I wouldn't do that. And I got a call from a client of mine saying, hey, I have a friend of mine who may be looking for a new manager. I said, who? And she said, Sean Whalen. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And she put us in touch that day. I think we met the next day.
I literally think we met the next day.
Yeah, and he denies ever getting any messages from me.
Is that true,
and-
Sean? You claim
No,
you never got
See,
them?
but you know me, Roxy, with social media and computers. She knows me well enough now to know. I had no idea that you could even get messages on YouTube and stuff.
I do feel like that's true.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, I think it's true.
Blow that off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That's
and
the
then
story.
other
That's the
thing-
real story.
And there's also people that were doing con managers and stuff like that. So maybe I thought it was that, but I honestly don't think I saw them. I truly don't.
Or you just ignored me.
And, see, I told you.
All right.
We
What a
always-
beautiful start to a lovely relationship.
so what is representation, Gary? Why does an actor need one anyway?
Well, look, there's two types. There's agents and managers.
Okay.
I was a former agent. I left that world. The agent's job is to procure work for your client. They're bonded by the state to go out there and procure work and do the deal for you. Managers are in a little bit of a different arena in the sense that we could still find work. Technically not supposed to negotiate the deal. Usually an agent or an attorney does that. There's a very big gray area there. But a manager's job is also to introduce the client to potential agents that may be interested in working with them, as well as giving them advice on their career. And when you get a little bit bigger, you start managing schedules and travel, whether or not you bring on a publicist, just very much more of a hands-on day-to-day person than an agent would be. Why do you need representation? Well, you want somebody that's out there that's pitching you on your behalf. So you're not doing that yourself. Now, when you're first starting off, you have to hit the ground running and you have to be your biggest fan and you have to be pitching yourself left and right. But when you find somebody who truly believes in your art and what you're doing as well, that could pitch you and push you, it's essential. And also too, to have that buffer when you get into the deal making process. A lot of younger actors who have probably dealt with producers or people that are doing lower budget things, they can get taken advantage sometimes because they don't know the process.
No protection, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's really protecting the best interests of the client, and from a managerial side is giving career advice on what to do and where to go next.
Guys, people who are familiar with this show, or people you heard from the beginning, you've heard me tell the story when I was going through kind of a rough time, and I was actually going through a bad time in my personal life that affected my nerves sometimes. Gary stuck by me, but if you guys remember the self-tape one we talked about where I kind of had a bad audition, and Gary said, don't get bummed out. We're going to contact them. They recontacted the casting director, said, we want to show you a tape. I've told that story if you know the show. And he's the one, when I mention my manager, Gary, he's the one who said, send that tape in again. And then that casting director said, you're right, this is a much better tape. We'll definitely show this to the director. So, it helped me navigate stuff that I would never have thought of, And even when I call him and go, hey, there's a friend doing a movie, it's no big deal. He goes, well, what about this, this, and this, and your card, and where are you going to get positioned? And I was like, oh, that's right. He just knows things that I or us actors don't need. So when you're building you get to LA, I have a thing called the 2-year plan, Gary, where I say, if you're going to do this, spend a year at home getting ready to do the 2-year plan, then go to LA and New York and hit the ground running, get your job, get your cheap place, and then get your experience. What do you think someone needs before they reach out to a manager? What should they have under their belt already?
A good headshot.
A good headshot. Okay.
A lot of what
Gary uses Yvonne. If you guys know our show, we got an Yvonne one, and
yeah, Yvonne's great.
Episode, yeah.
I think first and foremost, there's a lot of great acting schools, and I went to UC Santa Barbara, and I had a degree in directing, so I worked with a lot of the actors that were in the BFA program there, and it's great to have the acting tools and to be prepared. Have a basic understanding of what auditioning is, have a basic understanding of how the industry works. So I think
bolts on a resume, what would that look like?
As far as what, excuse me?
what nuts and bolts on a resume, what would that experience look like? Like, you know.
Well, as far as a resume goes, look, a lot of people when they first move to LA, they don't have a lot of credit, and I would say one of the best things. Well, first of all, don't lie in your resume. If you were an extra on 5 different studio movies,
right,
it reeks, and you could see it. Also, too, when somebody has a resume that has they're the lead in 30 different movies, but they don't have a single TV credit, looks kind of funny. Maybe there are a bunch of shorts, but just don't lie on there.
right.
Theater is a great thing, and look, from somebody that comes from a theater background, I do look at that. And also, everyone has to get their start somewhere.
So
Short films.
in my 2-year plan, I usually say, don't seek representation until you get, I mean, Steve Martin's famous quote, right? They say, oh, how do I get an agent? He goes, don't you need to be good first? I said in my 2-year plan, take the first 6 months to get in a class, get really good, maybe a couple, maybe an improv class, maybe a drama class and stuff like that before you reach out. So you show that you're settled in LA. Would you agree with that?
100%. I'm a big fan. Everyone should always be in class, and you could always get better, and you should always be training. Look, there are some people that are just naturally just better actors, but still, it doesn't matter. You have to continually train. I'm also a big fan of comedy, UCB, Groundlings. And I think everyone should have an opportunity to be in one of those classes, whether or not they think they're a dramatic actor or not. I think comedy it's tough, and to be in those courses along with a traditional acting class, I think is invaluable. So
another thing I always say is at the very basic, a beginning improv class. You should just absolutely have it, right?
Everyone should,
okay.
and also too, it doesn't look bad as a beginning actor to have in your resume that shows that you're taking that initiative to go out there and be a part of those courses. So training is definitely essential. But going back to headshot,
okay.
So I get anywhere from 20 to 50 emails per week, every week, from actors who are seeking representation. Okay. And I look at every single one of them. And a lot of what I look at is a look first. I've brought people in, and I'll be honest, out of maybe every 100 emails I get, I might call one of those people in. And then out of that group, I might sign 1 out of 10 of those people. Because a lot of times too, you want a headshot that's representative of yourself. A lot of people,
they don't look like themselves.
Yeah, exactly. But don't get me wrong, I have signed clients off of email submissions and brought them in a lot of times on their look, really. And I have another story real quick. A good friend of mine who I work with at the William Morris Agency, he was an older dude, and he called me up one day, and he was a staff writer on the originals, on a few different bigger TV shows, making pretty good money. And he was mid 30s, maybe a little bit later 30s on the later side, and called me up and said, "Hey man, I want to be an actor now." I was like, "No, you don't. You're older. You're past 30. You're a writer on big series. Why would you leave that job?"
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Not to mention you're a Caucasian man. You're not a leading man either, and you're not really charactery. Right. And he said, "Look, it's my lifelong dream to be an actor, and if I don't do it now, then I'll never forgive myself." And he took the most amazing headshots, the most amazing. The guy had almost 0 credits. Then 6 months, he got his first TV show. I booked him on 3 TV shows that year, and I would accredit a lot of it to just having incredible headshots. Does that work for everyone? No, but in his case, it did.
Can you define what an incredible headshot means to you? Like what difference?
Not something that's taken on an iPhone, shooting with a real photographer.
Okay.
Preferably, my preference is a well-lit, cinematically shot picture. usually with a longer lens, blurry background. I don't like studio shots. I just don't think they work great.
Neither. And Yvonne has really like killed that in me. That when now that I see the studio ones, I'm like, I like the outdoor she does.
But also too, going back to headshots, what I think is very important, and what I tell actors, clients of mine all the time, play a role when you're shooting. If you're going to dress up in a suit, you're an actor. So play the attorney, play a cop, play a role, have some ambition behind what you're shooting. Don't just sit there and pose. And a lot of younger actors too. I mean, look, actors feel like they have a certain look and they feel that they know their look and they know what's best. But you got to trust your agent and manager to instruct you on what they need. So don't do the same look over and over and over and over. I had a client of mine back in the day, really cute Hispanic woman, but she had the exact same look for every single headshot. So you got to change it up. I like, look, you should do some stuff showing your teeth. You should do some stuff just grinning, not showing teeth. And then you should do some serious. I like business shots, business casual. You don't have to do the full suit, but business casual works well. And just take a variety, really.
You've always had me, like when just my representation shots with you, it's like 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah. You never know. You get that one shot that works and it can work for you for a couple of years, but you should always constantly be shooting and updating. It shows that you give a shit about you because your headshot is your business card. And it shows that you give a damn about what you're presenting to the public. When you look on breakdowns, and breakdowns is how managers and agents submit pictures. There's some people, even you, Sean, have some older pictures that are up there that we keep for a particular reason, you know.
Right.
But when you see the date underneath the picture, and if the picture's 3 to 4 years old, you got to shoot again.
So sometimes, Gary, when talking about these headshots, sometimes people will reach out to you. They'll just send, I'm assuming, some kind of cover letter, a headshot. That's it. No footage, nothing.
Yeah. Yes. For me, what works best, I don't need a book, you know. Don't send me a 10-page email telling me about how amazing you are and how you won, you know, a best actor award in high school and blah, 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 blah. Short, simple, to the point. Send me any kind of footage that you have, send me pictures, and maybe just a little bit something about yourself, where you're from, just to show a little personality. But for me, I look at every single submission I get, and when I see a book, I tend to look away unless the picture's incredible. But yeah, I'd say a lot of it right off the bat is that picture, and then I look at the resume.
Any notes on reels, like just quick do's and don'ts on reels that you send? And are you saying email is the best way? What if people drop off packages? Are you down with that still, or?
No, I'm not, and I'm not thrilled when people call me directly either.
Okay.
I think email is definitely the best direct way.
Okay.
A big mistake a lot of young actors make, which looks really cheap, is sending the same stock email. And because you could see it, my name is in a different font and a different color, and then it's the pasted email below. Try not to do that. Also, too, if you're submitting to multiple agents and managers at the same time, don't put them all in the two, you know, like don't shoot an email off to 85 people and have
BCC
them all,
everybody. Yeah.
not even BCC. Don't even do that. Send individual emails.
Right.
Okay?
I'm saying don't do that. Yeah, of course.
When you send an email and you have 100 other agents on there.
Yeah.
Now, what do you feel about them taking the time to learn a little bit about you in advanced management and maybe saying, I've seen that you work with so-and-so and I've liked what you've done with blah, blah, blah's career?
Sure. I mean,
personal,
and a lot of people do that, but a lot of people also just bullshit around and said, I've seen your success, and I don't need, for me, it's just
you don't need the ego.
Send me your material, send me your picture, and if we respond, then we'll call you back.
Do you think that that's the norm? Do you think most managers feel the way you feel?
Yeah, but I mean, look, I'm also constantly watching, well, going to plays, going to showcases. Um, there's multiple ways to attract an agent or a manager. But I do think, at least for me, uh, emailing material to me is a very quick and easy way to at least get seen by that person. Um, but still, you should always be doing showcases and as much theater work and just as much acting work outside of in the community as possible.
Lauren said when she was on the show, Lauren Gibson, who was my agent, who obviously Gary works with, was saying she goes, she really enjoys plays because I get to see, instead of just clips on a reel, I get to see an arc, a whole, progression.
Yep.
Do you agree with that? Do you go out of your way to see plays, or do you just do it when someone suggests it to you? Or
I mean, look, I just love good live entertainment anyway. So for me, and I'm a big theater person, I love seeing plays.
yeah,
But there's numerous ways. I mean, a lot of recently now, I have not been as aggressive to go out and find talent. For the most part, it's by referral from a client of mine. Usually, they have a friend who's an actor who's been in something, a TV show or a movie, and so mostly it's referral. But I still do constantly check my emails, and if something sticks out as looking unique or it could fill a hole in my roster that I don't have, I will sometimes take a meeting.
so for me, I'm just trying to clarify for everyone and tell me if anything is wrong. A, a, a brief email saying about them personality wise, a resume, a headshot, and a reel. What should reels? What's do's and don'ts for reels? Good. What's
I would always put
like
solid material with good sound and that shot decently well. There's
length?
a lot of places out there that'll shoot scenes for actors.
Mhm.
The reps could tell. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad.
Okay.
It just I don't think it belongs in a reel. It should just be good quality material. One thing that I also don't need, and I casting directors as well, don't have a montage of scenes before your demo reel starts, like a music video of scenes that you've been in. Ridiculous.
That was a big deal in the 90s.
Just get to the point. Just get into the material, And if you don't have a lot, who cares? At least you have something. And if you don't have anything,
Right.
make a self-tape. Because honestly, at the end of the day, it will show the rep what a self-tape of yours will look like. So they're at least familiar with how you look and read on camera.
So would you rather a self-tape than one of those schools or classes that you could go take and they put you on camera that you were saying people could tell?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also a waste of money, I feel like.
Interesting. Yeah, because people have reached out to me to, do scenes with people.
I'll tell you another story. So there was a client of mine who I had just recently signed, and David Finch was doing a show like 4 or 5 years ago called Video Synchronicity. They changed the name to it, but at the time it was called Video Synchronicity. And she taped for it, and it was over a weekend. And I just had a couple of drinks, and I watched the tape. I'm like, damn, this is really fucking good. And I watched it again. I was like, this is absolutely incredible. So I sent it to the casting director, and she took a look at it. She emailed me back 10 minutes after I sent it to her. She's like, who is this girl? And why do I not know her? She's incredible. This tape is fantastic. And so she stuck a pin in her, which is basically saying, holding her availability for the duration of time that the show is shooting. And she said, please stick a pin in her. We're very interested. I'm sending this tape on to producers. And I said, that's fantastic. So I took that email and the self-tape, and I sent it to an agent at one of the top 5 agencies out there. And I said, look what this cast director said based off of this self-tape. And she ended up signing with that talent agency off of the self-tape.
Wow. Wow. And can you tell us a little bit about it in terms of, was it a drama, comedy?
It was drama.
It was a drama scene. Did she
dramatic.
get really emotional, or was it just grounded? Or
it's just the acting was just so good, and she just really just hit all the different beats of what the character was, and she really worked hard on it. She'd been in class and worked with a coach before she taped it.
Good.
And it's just very impressive what she put on tape. And that was one of her very first auditions with us, and literally signing with, a massive talent agency just because of the self-tape.
Well, so that's another thing, guys have talked about this, who listen to the show. If this is the tape you're going to put out, do the work. Do the work. Don't just grab a scene, look at it that morning, and throw it on tape.
Yep.
Do the work. Obviously, she did do the work. And obviously, she didn't send it to you until she, as you said, had been in class, had felt good about her craft and what she was going to do. So
she also booked a major studio movie straight off of the self-tape as well. She tapes very well.
So I mean, the thing is, wouldn't you agree that, like, don't pull into town and just start looking for agents? You should pull into town, get settled, get classes. I mean, unless you're maybe coming from New York, right, or Chicago, or somewhere where you have done a lot. Or is it different? Or is it different?
There's different agents out there. I think you should do your research. Don't come out here thinking you're going to sign with CAA and William Morris right off the boat. It's not going to happen. Don't be sending them emails. Look at talent agencies that are out there, and look, there's good and bad agents and managers. There are some managers who are better off as like kind of starter managers who have a relationship with kind of starter agencies. And what I mean by that is, like, there's a lot of agencies out there who deal more in volume and who maybe still deal with a lot of smaller roles, co-stars, little modified low budget movies and shit like that. But if you have no credits and at least you have somebody pitching and submitting you,
right?
I don't think it's a bad thing. And it may take some time for that actor to find their real team that they're going to have moving forward. But as far as getting your material out there, I mean, be specific about who you're approaching at least. Just don't email all the top people, because it doesn't look good.
If you've reached out and you've been specific and you don't hear back, what do you do?
Well, there's some really persistent people. I can't remember the guy's name, but he probably emails me 20 times a year. And I've responded to this guy. I was like, listen, no offense, it's just you're not a fit for my company. And I almost applaud his persistence, but send an email. If you don't hear back, follow up once, but if you don't hear back, then I would usually let it go. That's
do
just
you reach back out 6 months, a year, check back in, or you think if you reach out one time?
Yeah, but also checking back in. But I think when you check back in, do it with a purpose. Maybe you just booked a new play.
Yeah.
And invite that rep and say, hey, listen, I just booked a play that's playing at the North Hollywood Playhouse. Here's a flyer to it. Would love to put you on the comp list so you can see my performance. Or, I just booked a role in whatever, X TV show. I just wanted to give you an update. If you have the time in the future, we'd love to meet. It doesn't necessarily always work, but at least you're updating people that you're submitting.
Things are happening. Well, so when you say, so I'm going to send my email on, what's the best day of the week to get these kind of emails for you?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. No. But how long should I wait? Should I wait till 4 or 5 business days before I follow up?
There's no really specific time.
But what's too
month?
You wouldn't want them to email you the next day, right?
No. Give them at least a couple days.
Sean, I'm glad you're asking this, because a lot of my friends will agonize over this for like hours. They'll go to send an email on, I don't know, Monday at 1 a.m, and then they won't send it because they'll think that that's not a good time, and that the person they're sending it to won't want to see that they're sending something at 1 or whatever it is. Are there any times where you're like, no, that's not a good day, not a good hour, not a good day?
For me, no. I just don't like when people call me.
That's it.
And pitch themselves. I say, listen, you don't need a follow-up. You don't need a call. I'm busy enough. Send an email.
Right.
If we respond, we'll get back to you.
Right. And like, like everything I talk about in auditions and letting stuff go, you do your work, put your email together, send it out, personalize it. Don't do mass emails. And then you wait, you do your follow-up, and then you just move on. And you cannot take these things personally. There's a fit. There is a million managers who would have dropped me 5 million times, but Gary hasn't. But well, this is an awkward way for him to tell me live on my podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm wrapping this up with. You know, dropping you live on air.
but because Gary and I are a fit, that's not, you know what I mean? So it's something that it's like I talk about this, Gary, with casting directors. I have this theory about dating, you know, that you're going on a date and you don't know where the casting director's at, and you wouldn't leave a bad date and go, oh, I was awful. You just go, it was a bad date. That's all this is too. Do you fit? Do you connect? You know, when Gary and I got together, we went through, we had a couple crazy agent stories. Some were fine and good. And then we had one that was so passionate about me and then dropped me like 2 months later. And that was so insane. It was just so insane. And then we had another one that was really great. And then we loved them, working with them. And they just all of a sudden flipped out. And then I ended up with Lauren, who I met before that one. And they were still like, no, we love you and I've always wanted to work with you. So, I mean, even me, who has credits, it's a journey. You don't know where you're going to land or why you're
it's finding somebody that you could, especially from a managerial side, that you could communicate well with, and somebody that you like, and somebody that believes in your work. I always say, if my passion for your career exceeds your passion for your own career, something's wrong, and vice versa. Because I personally, as a manager, have to be passionate about everyone that I'm pitching. Otherwise, what's the point? It's just masturbation. I want to pitch people that I believe in, is worthy of my time to pick up the phone and actually pitch.
Yeah, I would say, in my younger days, I had managers who I just wanted to call every day and say, how are you? And they're like, oh my God, you're the greatest thing in the world. And that's all, but I'd have no work, but they would say you're the greatest thing in the world. I will tell the young actors, we all kind of want that. We love you. You're great. You're amazing. But if they're not getting you work, like that's the problem. You have to depersonalize it. Gary and I are fortunate that we became friends, but you cannot take any of the stuff personally or need assurance. That's what I needed.
Also, don't listen to your friends. Don't dictate your career based upon your friend's audition schedule. That's a big thing. Like a lot of people do. Look, this industry it's up and down, high and low. There's lulls at times. I think there's also a misconception about pilot season. Everyone thinks, oh, I didn't have a great pilot season. You know what? Not a lot of people do, unless you had some really nice bookings from the year before, a nice recurring credit on something. Or a movie. A lot of pilot season is really just offers to names. It's there's a huge misconception about what that is, and when it is and how to be the most successful in it. But I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic there a little bit.
No, not really. No, I think it's important that you know how to manage your manager. Don't overwhelm them with unnecessary calls.
Well, here's another big thing too. There are a lot of actors out there who have access to breakdowns. And I still have one client actually now that I've told them a million times, you do not need to send me breakdowns of what you're appropriate for.
Right.
You're now telling us how to do our job, or saying that we're not doing our job properly. You shouldn't do that. I've accepted him doing that now because he's been with me for so long. And I'm just like, he can't control himself. And he's even told me, I just need to do it for myself. And I said, you know what, that's fine. Right. But if you're going to send a project over to your agent or manager, don't just say, hey, could you submit me for this? I'm perfect for this. No shit. We already know that. We probably submitted you a couple of days before. Right. What's better is, okay, I've been pinned with this casting director before, or this casting director really likes me, but it's been a minute, or I know the producer on this project, or I've worked with this director before. give us tangible information that we can use to pitch you appropriately and better, you
Right.
know? Or sometimes I do like to ask my clients, what's your dream show? You know, because I will try and push really hard to get you on that, you know, but don't just send breakdowns to your agent, because honestly, it pisses the reps off.
Gary still hasn't got me on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I've told him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed for next season. I'm rooting for you, Sean.
But yeah, I think that I guess what you're saying is, but have you had these people who just want you as a friend to tell them they're great? You know, have you ever dealt with that kind of thing?
I can't just do that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I can't sugarcoat shit, man.
Yeah. It's a bad idea, you know?
Yeah.
Going back to what we were talking about before, and Gary, you saying to be very specific. So for the people out there who have either just moved here or are changing career paths, like you were talking about with your friend earlier, what are the best things to look for if you are trying to find representation and you don't have many credits? What should you be looking for in a manager? Should you be looking for somebody who has small amount of clients, as a referral? Like, what are the different tips and tricks?
Yeah, what I was going to say to add to her question is, what if you don't have a referral or a friend? You know what I mean? And you're going cold.
First thing first, I mean, it's hard enough breaking the ice and getting your first agent anyway. So I think that one of the best things, like I said earlier, is just to find somebody that's really passionate and believes in you. You should get a IMDb Pro account and you should do some research. You should look at people's rosters and not necessarily see what they're missing, but you should do a little bit of research into these companies and look at the clients that they have and rep. And like I said, you're not coming off the boat. You're not signing with William Morris, CAA, ICM, Gersh, UTA, whatever, right off the boat. You know, so humble yourself a little bit. Do some research and reach out appropriately to the right people. Eventually, you're going to get some meetings. Unless you just have a really shitty headshot that your girlfriend took of you on your iPhone, whatever. Right. You know, put a little bit of time into research and putting your material together before you start submitting, because eventually, if you're persistent enough, you will get meetings.
And I said in my 2-year plan, I said to you guys, like, get into an acting class where you're networking. That's how I met my first agent too. Like, who are you repped by? Because there's gonna be someone in your class that just got a commercial, and then someone in your class that just got an acting agent, and you'd say, you know, and then when they say, hey, can you invite them to the show? You know, and they'll come to your show and they'll see you, and you know, I mean, the networking is so important when you first get here. That's why I'm a big fan of a lot of.
You have to continually do it, and I personally, I hate it. I don't like it, but I have to do it because you're going to miss the next boat of executives, of casting directors, of producers. You have to continually stay out there and meet new people. Like talent agencies, when I was working in talent, in the talent agency world, today's assistant could be tomorrow's studio executive, could be, you know, a partner at the agency, could turn on to manage a huge A-list star. You never know. But you have to continually put yourself out there, especially as an actor, more than anyone. And then if you do meet somebody out there in public, producer, director, that does respond to you, that's when you call your manager and you say, hey, by the way, I met the producer of blah, blah, blah yesterday. Could you follow up and send them my material? And, you know,
couldn't you even say to that producer, if you like them and something, to say, hey, do you have any agents you work with that you like? I mean, what if they're not represented? Are they a good? See, I always got representation from casting directors after, you know, if I didn't like my agent or whatever, and then a casting director, I'd go to the casting director and go, hey, do you know any other agents that you like? And they'd give me a list. I don't know if they're allowed to do that anymore, actually, but they used to back in the day.
Yeah, they still do that.
They still do that. So yeah, that's great. Or if you meet somebody who's working, say, hey, is there any agents you know and like that you think would be right for me? I mean, that's why networking is huge. And speaking of networking, I mean, because unless Roxy, do you have one more question for Gary?
Well, I do see in a super chat comment from Weston Ira, he has a question for you. So coming from a fan, he said, good stuff, insightful panel. Gary, have you ever unrejected a talent?
Rejected them and then reconsidered?
Not somebody that yes. Somebody that I previously worked with before, and then we split ways for one reason or another, whether it's me dropping them or them dropping us, and then figuring out that, you know what, I do want to continue working with you later. So, and that, right, yes. As far as people just submitting to me, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But I've definitely had clients that we have stopped working together for whatever reason, that we decided to resume again later in the future. It's not often, but it does happen. Yeah.
Well, my story from the Karaoke Gary, great information. I mean, it's so valuable. It's so, so real and everything we need to hear.
Thanks for buttering me up, Sean.
I know. Well, I mean, I'm trying to I'm seeing if there's a chance.
Try not to get dropped before the end of this Zoom meeting, huh?
Yeah. But you would. I'm just terrified you're still going to drop me. So Gary, when we got to know each other, we hit it off right off the bat. Yeah. And one of the things he loved to do was karaoke. Yeah. It was kind of amazing timing, actually, because I was just splitting up with my wife. So there was, a week on with my kids, a week off with my kids. So the week off with my kids, I would go, and Gary and I would hang out at, friend's house, like Raphael's house, a producer friend of Gary's, and we'd go to karaoke bar. What was in West Hollywood?
The Surly
Goat.
Surly Goat. Wednesday nights at the Surly Goat, and Gary would have, and we brought in a ton of people. The late Sam Lloyd. That's how Gary met Sam, because Sam was a singer, and we brought him in there. And I brought a couple of, I hope Sheena always listens to these shows, but I had a couple of girls that I brought in before to see if they vibed, and Gary was like, nah, they're cool, but he loved my current girlfriend because she went in there and did an amazing version.
Baby Got Back,
and he
nailed it. I was like, that's your girl, man. She nailed it.
He's like, this is the one for you. Like,
yeah,
the most amazing. And I go, dude, she literally sang a karaoke song. You haven't been able to chat with her yet. He goes, she's awesome. I'm telling you right now. Yeah. But it was a way to network. Gary knew some people. It was fun. Gary liked to do it. Like, be smart that way. It's not like I hated karaoke, but I went with gritted teeth. I had fun, and it was somewhere we merged. Gary does other things like plays poker and stuff like that. I don't do that stuff, but we do the stuff that we do, hang out and have fun together. Yeah. And our go-to song that we've done every time, Gary.
Oh my God.
Are you choking?
No. Hang on. Jesse's Girl.
Look at that. It's like
you just let him struggle there, though, Sean.
Oh my God.
What kind of friend?
You would know it.
We had our little back and forth little cadence. We had our little dance in between.
Yeah. We have
wow.
And we've done it for, I think, since we started working together like 5-6 years ago. We started doing that, and we've done it at like every party we've been to.
It just got a little difficult,
Yeah.
Because it was on a Wednesday, and going back into work on a Thursday after drinking till 2 a.m. was not fun. Yeah.
But we did that for a solid.
We still got our shit done, man.
we did that for like a year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we did that for.
Started off with about 10 people, and it grew up to about 75 people, and
it was
and towards the end, it was really great because we had a lot of, I would invite producer friends, directing friends, agent friends, executive friends. And it was just a really nice, unpretentious way for people to network and get to know each other.
But not in a weird, like, it didn't feel forced or anything. It was always just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a great time. So.
I came into your lives too late. I'm a karaoke fiend.
Are you?
Oh, I love karaoke.
I
love it.
Well, me and Doug always have our karaoke party every year. Obviously, we're not having it this year, but Gary's come to all those, and we've done Jesse's Girl all the time. And when next year we'll be back to our karaoke party. We used to do Corky's, which actually closed, a historical place. But listen, this has been extremely helpful. I think it's just very, that's why I wanted to have you on here for so long, because you're just cut and dry. There's no fluff, just this is a business,
Hey, bring me back. I love to come back and continue this conversation
No,
because
we'd love to have you back. We'll definitely have some
I truly do enjoy working with look, a lot of people don't believe in development. What development is working with a younger talent and kind of teaching them and showing them the ropes and being a good mentor. I still enjoy that. I really do. I love finding talent where you don't expect to find it and helping nurture the next round of young actors out there. So if you ever wanted me back, I'd love to do this again because I enjoy these kind of conversations.
Episode, which would be awesome. And Gary has gotten new talent and sent them to me to coach. So
yeah, absolutely.
Too. So as always, Roxy, where can we find you?
Everywhere at Roxy Striar. Thank you, Gary, for joining us. Yeah, we have to have you back.
Awesome.
Have to. Not even a question. Gary, do you want people to follow you on social media?
I deleted my social media, so no.
Okay.
You deleted everything?
Gone. No Facebook, no Instagram.
During quarantine?
Gone.
Yeah.
What?
Waste of time.
He was
no way.
Can I tell you? He was never a big social media guy anyway.
Yeah, but how do you check out clients?
I don't. The only thing that I miss is Facebook birthdays, because that was my way of
the way, right.
I can't believe you're off. You cut the cord.
I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. If anything, it was consuming too much time. And anything, I have a new philosophy. Anything that causes anger, frustration, jealousy, envy, needs to be cut out of my life. And it was causing me to react emotionally to certain things. So I said, it doesn't belong there anymore.
Smart. Very smart. And you can find me everywhere at Sean Whalen Actor. Check out my TikToks and you'll enjoy them.
It's a funny guy.
Yep. So, but he encourages me though. You encourage my social media.
I do. Keep building it, man. I think it's great.
Exactly. All right. Well, as always, thank you for letting me be part of your journey.
You guys were great. Thank you so much for having me.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com.